Greetings. This is the one you've known as Jesus the Christ. I'm happy to be here with you today and to serve you in any way I can. Please know that I'm here to help you awaken. What I mean by this is awaken out of the false self into the realization of your true self. The divine self, which is what you are, has been living your life all along. It's right here, right now. It's listening to these words. It's sitting where you're sitting. It's experiencing what you're experiencing. It is what is alive. It is what exists. It is what experiences. It's not some higher self that's off in another dimension. Who you actually are, your divine self, is right here, right now. It gets covered over by ideas about yourself, which create a sense of a false you. You believe yourself to be this false you, so you overlook the divine self, which is colorless, genderless, nameless, and formless. The voice in your head tells you who you are, or it tries to. It tells you what to do, what to think, what to like, and what to believe. And that becomes who you think you are. That's the false self, simply thoughts about yourself. Thoughts about what you like, what you don't like, what you want, what you don't want, where you've been and where you're going. Thoughts about my life in the past and my life in the future. Even thoughts about the present are not the experience of the present. You are dual creatures. You have a voice in your head that describes to you who you are, tells you how you feel, what you want, and what you're afraid of. And the divine self is also here, without a voice. The divine self doesn't speak to you through the voice in your head. You don't receive its wisdom and guidance by listening to the voice in your head. Instead, the divine self communicates with you via your intuition. The intuition is subtle. It's not as loud as the voice in your head, and the intuition is more difficult to attend to. If you don't believe intuition exists, or you don't trust it, then it's easily overlooked. Understanding the duality of your nature is important, because at a certain point in your evolution, you become aware that you have a choice to believe the voice in your head or not. What an amazing moment that is, when you discover that you don't have to believe what the voice in your head tells you about yourself, about life, about others, and about God, and that any negativity that it asserts is not your negativity. It's humanity's negativity. You don't have to own it. It means nothing about you. Your negative and unkind thoughts and your judgmental, angry, and hateful thoughts aren't your thoughts. They aren't your true self's thoughts. They are the programming. They are humanity's thoughts. They are the same thoughts everyone has. The ego's voice, the voice in your head, is similar in everyone. Everyone has the same negative thoughts, the same hateful and judgmental thoughts, and the same limiting beliefs. It's not your fault that you have those thoughts, and they mean nothing about you. They don't describe you. They aren't what is true about you. They are the false self, and the false self looks very similar in every human being. It's no wonder you don't love yourselves when you believe that you're responsible for those thoughts. What a wonderful discovery it is to realize that you are not to blame for your negative thoughts. They don't mean that you're a bad person. They're the same thoughts that every human being has by virtue of being a human being, by virtue of having an ego. They're not your fault. You don't even need to fix or change or do away with these thoughts, which no one can do really. Thoughts come unbidden by you, unwelcome. They're not in your control. The only thing that is in your control is your awareness of those thoughts. Once you're aware of your thoughts, you can begin to make choices around them, whether or not to believe them and whether or not to give voice to them. That's where your power lies, in your awareness of the thoughts in your mind. That awareness gives you the potential to be free from those thoughts, because with awareness comes some choice around them. If you give your attention to those thoughts, you'll remain caught in the false self, in believing what it says to you. If you learn to not give your attention to those thoughts, you'll begin to experience who you really are more fully. Thoughts keep you from experiencing the divine self as fully as you can. So you must turn your attention away from those thoughts onto the experience you're having here and now, the experience your divine self is having here and now. The here and now is a simple experience, not nearly as dramatic and exciting as the virtual reality created by the mind. But in this simple experience of life, there's peace, there's love, there's wisdom, clarity, gratitude, and an embracing of life. That simple experience of being in love, in peace, in gratitude, and aligned with the wisdom and knowing that arise from the moment is all anyone really wants. This is what will make you happy. This is what will give you fulfillment in your life. The only thing that stands in the way of that is your love affair with the mind. One of the aims of the transmissions is to help you break your attachment to your mind, and many of you are experiencing that effect. Detachment from the mind is not to be underrated. It's profound when you begin to experience a greater distance from your egoic mind, when you begin to be free from it and experience yourself as the experiencer, as the one who's experiencing life, who's drinking life in and enjoying it. This is what everyone wants, and the key to this is breaking your addiction to your mind. It's not your fault that you are or have been addicted to your mind. That's the setup, and that's the challenge in this life, to overcome the addiction to the false self, to false beliefs, to the mind. This can be overcome, and it will be overcome, because that is the direction of humanity's unfolding. Because it's very important that this evolution come about as quickly as possible, we're bringing you help in breaking your attachment to the mind. But you also have to be willing to let go of your attachment. You have to have the will to awaken, the will to move beyond the mind. So we ask for your cooperation, your willingness, and your intention to loosen the attachment you have to your mind. Your intention is the first step and the most important step. After that, everything becomes easier. Once you know who you are, staying in the experience of who you are, and not returning to the false self becomes easier. What's hard is breaking the attachment. Many of you are ready to receive some help with that, so we're here to give you that help. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your openness. I am with you always.